I am playing WoW Classic Hardcore as if it was Runescape. That means we have to get around using click to move. We can't use abilities other than buffs, items and gear effects are okay as well. We are playing self-found as the only true way to play RuneScape Hardcore is as an Ironman. Let's see how far we can get. After an unfortunate encounter with the Defias in Moonbrook, I decided, like any good hardcore player, to go again. From scaped out to scaped again. I quickly got caught up with my first character, but decided that my vengeance against the Defias pillagers would have to wait, so went off to the lands of the dwarves. I quickly wrapped up the few quests that were relevant in Morogh. I replaced my chicken with this cute little bunny. Just don't ask what I had for dinner. And then I went to the beautiful Loch Modan. I wonder if we'll see Nessie. Now, before I could go look for Nessie, I had to help out these dwarfs a bit by enacting horrible crimes against the wildlife. This went mostly without issue, but Pin of the Woo didn't take too kindly on me doing this, and I had to risk my life by taking a leap of faith off the cliff into the cold lake below. Luckily, no monsters were there to eat me. But already facing a dangerous situation this early on did make me pay more attention. Aside from that, I also had to evict their Trogg neighbors. Apparently they were using the laundry machines on the dwarf's time slot, and as we all know, this is a crime punishable by death. The dwarves were so impressed by my efficient work that they wanted me to evict the upstairs neighbors as well. I know they can be quite mean, however, so I decided it was best to put that on hold for now. So instead, I went to handle a nearby rat problem, where I made good use of the thrown skill I pick up in Ironforge, letting me take them on one at a time. Along with picking up some gear from the mines, I also had to take their ears, as the friend with dwarves had asked for them. I'm sure there's a very good reason for this. But more importantly, I got a pretty nice chest piece with stamina on it. After taking in the beautiful view over the loch, I went past it to hand over some documents to the excavation site to the east. A very interesting place to explore, I'm sure, but seeing that the Troggs squatting there looked a bit too dangerous for me right now, I decided it was best to leave them alone, for now. But that's when I ran into Bingle and his perfectly landed plane. As they say, any land you can walk away from is a good one, and this little gnome seems to be none the worse for wear. However, it seems he lost his gear during the turbulence during the landing, and asked me to pick it up. Small issue, his gear was located on an island in the middle of the loch, filled with some hard-hitting Troggs. I had some close calls, especially where multiple of them aggroed on me at once, and seeing as I can do little more than auto-attack, that can be an issue. But thanks to some liberal use of my healing potions, I managed to squeeze out alive. The rest of the tools were gathered thanks to some masterful stealth. Never let a rogue do a warrior's job. With that being done, it was time to head over to the Elven Hunter's Lodge in the far east of the zone. I was welcomed by a beautiful, classic high elf. Picked up some new recipes, grabbed all of the quests and headed straight out to commit some more horrible crimes against the wildlife. I was clearly stunned by the beauty of that high elf earlier, because I did not pay attention at all that one of the quests was on a timer. Well, that quest was a bust, so I continued calling the rest of the wildlife when I got a really nice random gear drop from the crocolisk. Nice. Even matched my current green color scheme. That being done, it was time to head back to the lodge and take on the Hunter's Challenge for real this time. 6 buzzards in 15 minutes. That shouldn't be an issue. What? Why can the birds give tetanus? Like, I get the machines in Westfall, but why the birds? Well, with the challenge complete, I sprinted back to pick up the next challenge. Have a good one. 5 boars in 12 minutes. And this one even gives us a weapon upgrade with a massive 0.2 DPS increase. Incredible. Clearly, this upgrade was so distracting, I completely misread the quest text. So instead of hunting boars, I went after the bears. I soon realized my mistake, however. With a third of the time gone, I finally went after my first boar. The time was ticking, and these boars were far more resilient than the busters from before. At least I had a beautiful view of the loch as I was cutting down these piggies. But despite the setback, I made it. With only 2 minutes left on the clock, I was done. Turned in the quest and picked up my sword. Then gave me the final hunting challenge, taking on Old Sooty, a level 20 elite quest. No thank you, I'm not cocky enough to delude myself that I can take down an elite with nothing but auto attacks and click to move. Feeling a little dejected, I figured I'd help out Miran and do his escort quest. Now, escort quests can be quite notorious in this game, but this was still a relatively low level zone and I was a couple levels above the quest. What could possibly go wrong? So, anyway, I totally didn't sacrifice Miran to the elites to get away, and I totally didn't start the escort quest all over again. We both went our way safely and not dead to the quarry, but just before we arrived, we were ambushed by 2 dark iron raiders. Ambushes, a classic escort trope that I've gotten many hardcore characters killed. But Miran were surprisingly strong and managed to handle one of them on his own. That allowed me to focus on the other, and together we were successful. The boots I got weren't exactly an upgrade, but it was some good silver in my pocket and XP to my bar. And after having bravely saved Miran, I decided it was time to clear out those upstairs neighbors mentioned earlier. Feeling quite strong after my adventures around the loch, I felt ready to take them on. But getting there, I still had to be careful. There were a lot of these guys clumped together, making it easy to pull multiple at once and difficult to escape. But the new sword proved useful and I managed to take them out without much issue. However, in the very next quest they wanted me to take out the basement dweller Troggs. And they were inside this cave. And you have to be on some strong ale if you think I'm willing to subjecting myself to a lengthy cave dive, Master Dwarf. That being said, I remember from my time helping the gnome pilot retrieve his tools that the island was filled with Troggs. And true enough, some of them were the exact ones I needed to take care of. And this took quite some time. Not just because there were multiple other players having the exact same idea as I had, but also because these shamans had the ability to heal themselves mid-fight. On top of that, with only using auto attacks, I couldn't really out-damage their heals and simply had to hope that my health could outlast their mana. Luckily, most didn't heal more than once during a fight, and I managed to defeat them. After finally dealing with the Trogg menace, it was time to head back. I took one final swim through the loch, keeping a sharp eye on the crocolisks at the shore, as well as any monsters. And wait. There, yeah, I saw it. Nessie, the Loch Modan Monster in the flesh. And her brother, I suppose? Who knew? Feeling quite satisfied with myself, having helped out the dwarves on multiple fronts, committed unspeakable crimes against the Troggs and the wildlife of the zone, and even getting a glimpse of the Loch Modan Monster herself, I was feeling ready to head out. So I kicked out the last few Troggs out of the excavation site, said nope to a quest asking me to take on 3 Troggs at once, despite being very tempted by that green shield, and finally saying goodbye to one of the most beautiful zones in Classic. But now, it was time to head back to Westfall. Will I get my revenge on the Defies pillagers for ending Scaped Out's life? Or will Scaped again share the fate of my predecessor? Let's find out next time.